All right. Welcome to another episode of Fan Therapy, episode 74. You guys, peoples, you guys already know what we are going to be talking about today. Here with the tennis captain himself, Eagles super fan. He is undefeated in the NFC Championships games. A Pac-12 truther, one of few left, six team college football 6-team college football playoff enthusiast. That is a tongue twister. Fan therapy salary cap maestro. He is our capologist, if you will. Fan therapy college football analyst. Tyler, how are we doing today, bro? Back rocking the alma mater.
Yeah, dude. Sad loss to New Mexico in the NIT, but we'll get them next year.
No, absolutely. But your other squad kind of worked out. So they
What
got
squad?
themselves a dub. Miami of Ohio.
Oh, that was just because I bet on them. I didn't actually bet. I just bet on them to go undefeated in the regular season. That was it.
They got you one though. They got you one when it mattered. But we are rocking back with the football talk. I am here. I gotta pull it up. Connecticut game versus Rhode Island regular captain. Connecticut track and field state champ. Junior year, less than 50 people caught as many passes. Princeton University football captain. 11 catches a pop in college. 12 catches a pop in the NFL. The 138th pick in the 2016 NFL draft. He has graced the Jags, Cardinals, of course, the aforementioned Browns with his presence. The greatest coder on the podcast, the greatest coder talking football, the greatest coder in the country. Seth, how we doing today, bro?
I'm good, Justin. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Excited to talk football. Even though I was digging through, we're getting to that point of the off season where I think people may really need people like us to really trudge through the thick of it that we're going through it. But thankfully, honestly, we kind of missed out on something here. So we're rocking with this as the first topic. Got to start off the show talking about the news. It's very, very important to us. Rocking with another wide receiver, Mike Evans has decided and agreed upon a deal to go to the 49ers. I think this was a big move in the free agency that happened at an awkward time of our filming. So we completely missed it. Didn't really get a chance to talk about it. I think big deal receiver. The big thing of him was getting his 1,000 yards. He has a big streak of that. Obviously, that didn't work out as well for last year due to injuries and other things. He leaves a rather talented offense that honestly might be finding their pieces. They're really excited about how he'd pair with Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving didn't have the healthy year that he wanted, so they leave question marks. Levante David, another cornerstone to that franchise, leaving as well. Tyler, your initial thoughts on a player that's probably biggest buck of our lifetime, Mike Evans, leaving. How you feel about that one?
You always kind of shocked when guys like that leave their teams that you expect to be like one jersey guys. Kind of
Right.
like Larry Fitzgerald, you expect like him to be like Larry, where one jersey, play for the Bucks forever, no matter what. He'll sign a 1 year deal. I was shocked by 3 years more than him actually like leaving the Bucks. That's a long time
Mm,
for Mike Evans. That's a long commitment to a receiver who hasn't been healthy recently. And as players get bigger, faster, stronger, he doesn't. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting about the 49ers. Definitely to replace Jawan Jennings, kind of gives him the same body type, um, more experience. But yeah, shock for him to lead the Bucks. Shocked they got 3 years. Good for him though. A lot
Yeah,
of money.
no, absolutely. Absolutely. Great
Yeah.
move he's going into with a great offensive mind. Seth, what are you kind of excited to see with Mike, and what are your kind of initial thoughts on a move, a big player going to one of the storied franchises in the league?
Yeah, it's exciting. I think it's a bold move by the 49ers just because they're a team that's been pushing off the inevitable rebuild for a number of years now. Um,
Mm,
they are getting older every year and are one of the oldest rosters in the NFL. And the acquisition of Mike Evans just makes their average age even older, especially at a key position. Um, you mentioned that Mike Evans, missed his 11th, I think, consecutive 1,000-yard season in
so,
2025. He just barely got it his 10th in 2024, also because of injury. It's just probably more likely than not that Mike Evans misses a bunch of games in 2026. Is his big play capacity needed in San Francisco and for Brock Purdy? Absolutely. Is he going to join the likes of George Kittle and Trent Williams, who are not available all of the time? Most likely. And that is probably, at the end of the day, going to bite the 49ers in the rear end. I just think that do I like the player? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Do I like the fit? If you're going to convince me that the 49ers are still in their Super Bowl window, yeah, I like the fit. I think it's a tough sell, though. With just the agedness of the roster and the injury bug that inevitably bites them, partially because of the age and partially because of just historical precedent. And I'm not familiar with the contract details, although I'd be surprised if you dug into it. If there was guaranteed money through 3 years. 3 years is probably language that Mike Evans' agent pushed for, but there's probably very little guaranteed money after the first year, would be my guess. Not saying it's not a great contract for him at this stage in his career. I think it is, but I think that there's probably an easy out after year one or year two, without having actually looked at it. That would just be my assumption.
Absolutely. And getting into speculation territory, I think we've kind of talked about they've been kind of shaky. One's kind of praised for the depth that they had at this position with Debo and Brandon Ayuk. Another shaky situation they've been dealing with is Brandon Ayuk. They're kind of holding on, not releasing him, holding on hope to trade. Is kind of making a move like this, is that kind of a sign that they feel like they will be able to move off the player? Or do you think they're kind of panic mode a bit, kind of trying to get like a talented player in while they can? What are your thoughts on that, Tyler?
It's definitely it's a very 49ers move. I think Seth hit it right. Like, they're just an old team, and like they hold on to players longer than they probably should. Like Fred Warner, they probably should have moved off at this point because he can't stay healthy. Trent Williams, they probably should have moved off of. George Kittle's a tough one because like he really is the exact tight end that you want in a Shanahan offense. So like that one you can live with. Same thing like Christian McCaffrey, and that's why I kind of like this Mike Evans move is a little weird because it's like just adding to that.
Yeah,
right.
But
Christian has his own issues as well.
Yeah, and same thing like the outside of Christian Kirk, which is another weird one too,
Right.
where it's like, you're really not doing as much as you could, just kind of like doing
good player, but also old.
Yeah, just like they're just targeting weird players for where their roster's at.
I mean, when you look at the projected depth chart for the 49ers, like not offensively, 90% of these guys probably don't even practice more than 1 day a week. So it's almost like you don't even trot out your offense most of the season to get reps outside of game day. Like you're talking about outside of Brock Purdy, you're talking Christian McCaffrey, good old running back, Mike Evans, good old wide receiver, Christian Kirk, same, George Kittle, old tight end, but good, right? This is what we say about the entire 49ers depth chart. Good, but old. Kyle Juszczyk, old, older than me. Trent Williams, older than me.
Nick Bosa.
Yeah, I'm just going up and down the offense, but Nick Bosa, almost as old as me. Just guys who have a lot of tread on the tires, which we know in the NFL adds up very quickly.
There, Jordan James, though. Shout out Oregon. Go Ducks.
Who was that? I missed the player.
Jordan James, the backup running back for the 49ers, who went to Oregon.
No, and then they had Brian Robinson Jr. last year, and he went somewhere else. I think that was a kind of
he went to the Falcons.
Exactly, yeah. So
they got two D Robinsons.
Somebody said someone's going to draft him by accident.
Yes, I'm going to convince someone in our fantasy league, be like, "Yo, B. Robinson." This is the
He's
guy
still
you
there.
need.
Somebody missed him. I think we talked about the wide receiver room in the 49ers looking weird, all those rooms looking weird. Well, the Browns quarterback room is no stranger to kind of just weird changes of players being in there. Right now, they're sitting with Deshaun Watson and Shadur Sanders. Talks of them moving off of everything else on the roster in terms of quarterback seem to be rather still valuable. We'll see how that goes. There's been talks popping up of Deshaun ending up the number one. I also, huge news, Shador switching his number. He got the number 2. So back to perfect time, and we'll see how that rocks out. Big news there. But yeah, I'm going to kind of tie this with some other news. But just initial thoughts on the state of the Browns if they elect to kind of really go into the season. Do you think they'll actually go into the season with like deciding between Deshaun Watson and Shadur? Or do you think they need to call up a Kirk Cousins? Do you think they really need to hit the emergency red button and get a quarterback? I'll start with you again, Tyler, on this one.
That's really interesting. Not a huge Deshaun Watson fan, so not
too many
not
of
really
those.
looking forward to him trotting out week 1. Would much rather see a Taylor Heineke, strap up the boots again. I definitely think you had it right. They need to bring in a vet. Like, that's a tough room, man. Dylan Gabriel, love him to death, but I might be taller than him. Viewers at home, I'm 5'8". Shador, you know what you got with him. Same thing with, I guess, like, it's the whole room. You know what you've got. Like, you don't got much. If you put them all together, you have something, but you can't do that. You got to pick one. And they built their offensive lineup, though, so that is good. Elkin Jenkins and Zion Johnson and Titus Howard are 3 really good players they added to their line, so that's definitely going to help whoever they bring in. But it's got to be somebody else. Even like Joe Flacco. Like, I'd let Flacco come back. Matt Ryan off the couch. Tom Brady. I'd really put anybody in there that can just, like, dump the ball off on second down rather than take a 15-yard sack like these 3 guys all will.
Shoot, Seth, what are you thinking about the Browns quarterback room? And I know we're talking about some funky people too. So
that's very well said by
football.
Yeah, it's very well said by Tyler. We need some maturity in the room that will just dirt the ball when it's not there, instead of escaping backwards out of the pocket and taking a 30-yard loss. I mean, gosh. We saw Tom Brady do it in the Fanatics flag football thing. There was a play he didn't like. He threw it in the ground so fast. I was like, every young quarterback take notes. Like, you getting out of a bad play is so much better than you taking an unnecessary risk or losing yards on a bad play. Just get out of it, live to fight another down. Like, it's just so refreshing to see Tom Brady do that in a flag football game. We're not even with Drewski and freaking speed on the field. You know what I mean? Like, where were we? Browns QBs.
Tom Brady, maybe.
He would. It sounds like he would if he could.
Tom Brady and Matt Ryan are not options. I don't think they're legally options. Kirk Cousins, Joe Flacco, maybe. I just don't see how you stockpile so many options at one position. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, we had this conversation when they drafted 2 rookies last year and kept them both on the roster. You're married to Deshaun. We've known that for 5 years. And to be honest with you, having known Todd Monken personally, I would not be surprised if he grows a liking for Deshaun Watson. Now, I share Tyler's view on this and most of the world. Nobody particularly wants to see Deshaun Watson play. I also know that having not taken significant reps in a number of years, he's probably not very good. Heck, he wasn't very good the last time he tried it out there.
Yeah.
That being said, he just has to be better than second-year Dylan Gabriel and second-year Shador Sanders for him to land the starting job. And that's why you are seeing lots of reports saying, do not be surprised if Deshaun Watson ends up being the starting quarterback for the Browns. They're paying him like a starter. We knew that 5 years ago. And it would be good for the organization if they could get something out of it. I'm not saying he's going to be the savior quarterback this year, but it seems to me like this is a multi-year operation under Todd Monken. I do not think they have reasonable expectations that the Browns are going to be good this year. And I think they do go with Shador or Deshaun. I personally do not think Dylan is the answer or a legitimate option there. I would not be surprised to see Deshaun back in the saddle, personally.
Yeah, I think the idea honestly popped in my head where there was like a picture, like not a picture, there's a video of the Browns practice, and it literally showed like Shador, Dylan, and Deshaun all like rotating, throwing, and then like it honestly looked like Deshaun was playing like a slightly different sport than the other two when it was his turn to do the drills. So honestly, just because of that, they might have to default out and go for the guy that they're paying all that money to. Despite the sad reasons that we listed, it is a crazy world, crazy situation they ended up in, and I think sadly the beneficiary of it seems like it's gonna get another shot, which is very crazy to think about. Going on to another team, very very much so in trouble. I'm probably gonna link the two in a question at the end of this, but Geno Smith is known. He's stated to be the starting quarterback for the Jets. They wanted to make that known as early as now. For some reason, we can speculate why if you want to discuss that. But yeah, wanted to get your thoughts on this. That kind of seems like the Jets wanted to make a decision quickly on a quarterback they deem as capable that they can get in the door. Obviously, the Raiders experiment didn't go well. He left a Seattle Seahawks team that was willing to keep him. He ends up with another team that wants him, thankfully for him. Do you guys imagine him improving this team very much so from what they were last year? And to the of how many wins do you guys see maybe him getting more? If the answer is 0, if the answer is less, that can definitely be the answer. Seth, what's your thoughts on the Jets bringing in and really naming right now the Geno Smith as their starter?
I think it's smart. I'm not against naming a quarterback as a starter. It brings a lot of stability to the offseason program, training camp, and just the organization. The Jets know they're going to be bad.
Yep.
So I don't think they're like holding out for somebody to win a competitive training camp. I think they're just like, get us through this season with a mature guy who's been around the league, who's played. That being said, do I expect Geno Smith to play well? No, I don't. Partially because the Jets are not going to be good.
Yeah.
He's going to be put in situations where he's forced to throw the ball and make decisions he wouldn't otherwise make at the end of games. And you can bet the over on his interception count. That's just what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because I've seen this movie before. Again, I will say this as I always do. I don't root against any player. But if you're asking me my take, I think the Jets are going to be pretty bad. So that's a tough position for a guy like Geno to go and perform well in.
No, absolutely. That's I fully agree with those thoughts there. And he's not the type of guy to shy away from the chance to really sling the rock around. So I think he'll definitely be put in some situations that will not be good for him. And that honestly is probably what the Jets may be looking for out of this season, to finally get somebody that they can really just deem their franchise guy. Tyler, as a betting man, are you happy about this kind of being able to run the over week after week for the Jets, or do you think this might turn out a little better for them?
I'm personally very excited to watch Garrett Wilson actually get the chance to catch a football once a week now, minimum.
Once.
That's gonna be cool. Because like you said, Gino's not afraid to sling it.
Right.
Justin Fields was more than afraid to sling it. To the tune of I wish like he would just not throw the ball, and I was like, okay, this is unwatchable. I think Gino adds one win to the Jets. By it, like just Gino. I think Gino just being there adds playing, he might add another half win. So I'll give him 1.5.
There you go.
Justin Fields' stats, like I think Justin, I remember sharing this with you during the year. They were like, people were like, "Oh my gosh, look at Justin Fields! He's got 7 touchdowns, 1 interception," and every single stat was in the fourth quarter when they were down by like 21 plus.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, you look good when the team's letting you do that. So, yeah, I think if you're Garrett Wilson, you're thrilled. You're like, oh my gosh, a quarterback who's gonna drop back and give me a chance.
Right.
You have a decent running back. You have a really good tight end. I'm a huge Mason Taylor fan. I think he's really good. Outside of that, I really don't have much. O-line's shaky. Defense should be good. So yeah, Jets 1.5 win for Gino. Yeah, I think it was a good.
Why do you think defense should be good?
Why? They got a new defensive
Yeah.
coordinator. They fired the last guy, and I liked the trade for Tavondre Sweat, kind of replace Quinn Williams. Having picked 2, go get Arvell Reese, a serious playmaker in that front 7. Will McDonald, I also like.
He's like one of the most athletic people I've ever seen play a sport.
They got rid of Sauce, which is whatever to me, because I think scheme over boundary corner. So if the scheme's good, defense should be good, which I think Aaron Glenn can do. Yeah, I think they'll have a solid unit. I don't think they're gonna be like top 10, but like 15 to like 20 range, probably, depending on what they do with that second pick, that second first round pick.
Yeah, I'm just concerned. I'm concerned with Aaron Glenn, to be honest with you.
Yeah, good guy though.
Good guy, great coordinator for the Lions. But even when the Jets brought in Robert Saleh, the Jets weren't good, but their defense was pretty good.
Yeah.
And Robert Saleh is a defensive guy, just like Aaron Glenn's a defensive guy. I think, a lot of times when coordinators promoted the head coaches don't work out, at least their side of the ball was good. They just couldn't actually get the whole unit going in the right direction. Jets defense was bad last year. Real bad. I don't think they had like a single interception, a single takeaway.
No. Yeah, it was.
And so that's concerning to me. Like, I think he's a significant downgrade from Robert Saleh, who they also fired, right? If we're using 1 year as judgment, which in the NFL, that's what we do. You sign up for a very prestigious position as one of 32 head coaches in the world. You get judged real quick. Again, hope he proves me wrong this year, but part of my expectation for the Jets is just this might have been a swing and a miss at the head coach.
He's taking over play calling, so he didn't play. King called plays last year, so he's calling plays this year.
So he will be able to run and hide from the accusations.
I think, yeah.
Right.
And I'm sure that was an appointed decision. I'm sure he definitely had to say some things and show that he was willing to take some responsibilities going into that next year. And I think, you mentioned it's like one of the hardest jobs. They always say like one of the only guarantees when you go into that job is that you'll be fired one day, no matter how good you go, no matter how bad it goes. It's probably bound to happen one day. Amongst these 2 coaches, do you think Todd Monken, we just discussed, the Cleveland Browns, and the Jets, 2 teams that are kind of coming off lowly seasons? I know we see the Browns have some of the most talented players, honestly, in the league on their team. Are they heads and shoulders above the Jets at this point, or do you think the quarterback situation could really just drag them right back down to like kind of where the Jets are if they continue as is?
If the Browns had Jim Schwartz, I'd say the Browns I'd believe in them way more, but they don't now. Like that's a huge loss. That's a massive loss.
That's my guy.
Those guys loved playing for him. He loved playing like with them. And then you talk about the quarterback situation, but beyond that, very similar rosters. Browns have Myles Garrett. That's probably where they get the edge from.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like we're picking between two bad options here. If they played 10 times, the Browns maybe win 6 of them. But, it depends on the venue. Depends on a couple of balls bouncing a particular way. I think from a slightly different perspective, I think the Browns are slightly more relevant than the Jets right now, even though the Jets are in the New York market. I think the Browns draw a little bit more of an audience than the Jets do. That doesn't have anything to do with whether they're good or not. I just think they're more of an interesting product, which the NFL cares about when they start placing these games in windows for, television consumption this year. But yeah, I'm not expecting a lot from either team.
Man, I really feel like it's a real shame because I feel like there's so much like there for the Browns, especially like the talent they have on defense. I think they even put together, even outside of like Myles Garrett and Deadwood, I think they even had some talented players there, but just gotta get that quarterback position right at the end of the day. And keeping with that topic, getting the quarterback position right, we are entering a draft scenario where it's pretty much a clear cut first pick going to the Las Vegas Raiders. It seems like they've had their guy honestly since like middle of the college football season, maybe a little bit after that. It's seeming like Mendoza the whole way. There's been chat going around for Simpson, and that has been kind of led by Darren Orlovsky. Tyler has pointed out they do have the same agent, so that is likely the reason why Darren Orlovsky is singing the praises of Simpson. But some people say he does bring up some relevant facts to the case. Honestly, Tyler, I'll just give you an ISO for how this situation makes you feel, and we'll kind of take the conversation from there. It's really that time of year where it usually happens at the quarterback position too, where somebody just tries to eke somebody up the leaderboard. So I'll let you take it from here.
I will never have an issue with people saying like, I think X player is a better prospect than Y player, because like at the end of the day, it's all like what you see on tape, what you think, how you think things project. But for Dan Orlovsky to sit there with his smug little smile and say that Fernando Mendoza didn't win a single big game, I paused my phone and I threw my phone across the room. Like it made me so mad because it's such a disingenuous argument that you're making for like no reason other than like
Clicks.
to either like draw up clicks. I don't know, but like Fernando Mendoza literally just won a national championship. And when Alabama played Indiana, you know what happened? Belt 38-3. Like, what do you mean he didn't play any big games? You're trying to tell me Missouri, Alabama is a bigger game than the Oregon Indiana game that he played in Austin that he then went and won, or the Big Ten championship he played against the greatest college football defense we've ever seen? No. Dan Orlovsky, Arkansas, Alabama, that's a bigger game to him. Oh my God, he made me so mad. And he's sitting there smiling like, come on, Pat, come on. I'm like, dude, Pat McAfee's cooking you. And I'm a huge Pat McAfee guy usually. You're not a huge Pat McAfee guy usually. He's a big click guy. But
I was about to say he's like the same way usually, just on the other side.
Yeah, and for Pat McAfee, look, he'd be like, dude, you have to stop. And then him to after like whine, be like, why are people making fun of me? Like, well, dude, you just dragged Fernando Mendoza through the mud for no reason at all. Like the guy just went undefeated with Indiana. Like I don't what do you like what else? Oh my gosh, it made me so mad. But he did bring up good points. Or like Ty Simpson, definitely there's GMs out there like, oh, this guy rocks because like he does rock. He's a freak athlete, big arm, get out of the pocket, and he can sling it. Like he's Zach Wilson. It's the same thing. Quarterback GMs are always going to fall in love with these guys.
Oh,
I'm
he's
gonna
Zach
follow
Wilson.
I was about to say, Seth, I'll let you take this whichever way you want, but I feel like we're getting into the conversation of just like how media really just starts swaying can sway these opinions or appear to sway these opinions. I think the likes of there's points where you can say maybe they've always thought highly of this guy, but I think there are points where the likes maybe Zach Wilson can be somewhere we see as that where maybe the media does kind of get in the head of these guys, and maybe GMs feel like I have to take this guy. I can't be the guy to miss on this one, because there was a guy like him last year. I think of examples. I promise I'll let you talk soon. Son. I think of examples like with the year after we had Myles Garrett. I think there was like a rush. I feel like a whole like elk of like edges were just highly overrated.
Bradley
like
Chubb.
after that, Bradley Chubb. I think Jadeveon
Chase
Clowney
Young.
kind of got like linked into there. For everybody, I feel like just trying to like find the mold there. So just your opinions on things like that happening, your experiences seeing, then how like just how it can really kind of be a detriment to a league if you kind of make a decision off of that.
Yeah, so Jadeveon was before Miles, but Bradley
Mhm.
Chubb was the draft right after Miles, and Bradley Chubb was hyped to be at Miles' level. We know that that wasn't true. We knew it then. We know it even more now. Similarly, Patrick Mahomes got Zach Wilson drafted as high as he did,
Yeah.
right? There was 9 teams that passed on Patrick Mahomes. When it was Zach Wilson's turn, the league decided they weren't going to make that mistake again. We're going to draft this arm talent that we see, even though he comes from a mid-major school like Patrick Mahomes did. I don't know if you call BYU and Texas Tech mid-major, but I think at least
In
back
the
then,
SEC. Yeah.
yeah, back then it's a valid argument before NIL and stuff like that. But to get back to the task at hand, live sports runs the media entertainment of the world. Fox, NBC, CBS, ESPN, they're all in business because of live sports. Gone are the days of Hawaii Five-0 and Grey's Anatomy keeping Fox and CBS or whatever networks they aired on in business, right? So in many regards, live sports is the organism that puts bread on everybody's tables. At the same time, the players and coaches that get so much bread put on their tables is because the media feeds into this organism, right? Like, it's not a coincidence that our sports calendars are scheduled perfectly every year. The fact that, I don't know, help me out with this, but like literally the NBA playoffs kick off right when everything else shuts down over the sports calendar, or like March Madness happens to kick off right when NFL is over, or like combine, draft. The football calendar is spread out perfectly for media consumption, right? And we love creating controversy at the top of the draft, right? In this particular case, I think Dan Orlovsky is just, he has a job where he's paid to make and have opinions. This opinion is one where he looks really smart if he turns out to be right. And the truth is, we don't know if Fernando Mendoza is going to be any good in the NFL. We don't know if Ty Simpson is going to be any good in the NFL. So really, Dan Orlovsky can sit here and make really a 50-50 proposition of him looking like a genius 18 months from now, right? And that's honestly a proposition somebody like him is willing to make because it gives him a lot of weight and a lot of clout 18 months from now. You know what I mean? Whereas we all know statistically, these decisions are a coin flip. That being said, it really doesn't matter. If this decision is going to be a coin flip, you darn well better make sure you take with the number 1 overall pick the kid who won the national championship, won the Heisman, went 16-0, beat Oregon twice, beat Penn State, beat Alabama, beat Miami. Like,
yeah, but he didn't beat Missouri, so no big wins.
The fact, yeah, he has a lot of big wins. I mean, I just named 5 of them, but God forbid we leave out the fact that he's a Heisman Trophy winner and the national champion and undefeated, and he did it at a mid-major football wise, right? So you even if he doesn't work out, you still take him number 1 overall because you have to, right? All the data points point toward him being the least risk or the lowest floor, right?
Mhm.
In this particular case, like even though we don't really know, the draft pulls in better numbers when we're not sure who's going to go where, right?
Exactly.
So even if we can manufacture the reality that we're not sure, it's good if we can, imprint that belief into the consumer and into the viewer because it's good for numbers. It's good for everybody's bottom line. So that's just kind of how this industry is and how it works. And yeah, Dan's probably chuckling tonight. I think he knows what he's doing. He's not a dumb dude.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy who made a lot of money playing football and is now making more money having opinions on television. So good for him.
Absolutely. And he went to UConn. He's a Husky, so he was definitely very happy.
I know. With every bone in my body, I'm trying not to talk about basketball tonight. So
no, I almost got it in with the pick 6, but then I thought of something else. So we'll
it's okay. I just added it to my my bio here at the bottom of my screen. So
no, I appreciate it. We've been waiting for one of those from you, so I definitely excited about that. All right. Next top. Oh, you actually had Go Tigers in the last one, so I gotta give you credit. Gotta give credit for that. We've been keeping it relatively positive. Not sure how long we want to talk about this, but again, scouring for news this offseason. We're getting to that point. But it looks like George Pickens is gonna do a little contract holdout. Hopefully it is the detriment to the Cowboys offseason. Tyler, your thoughts on kind of how they're dealing with the George Pickens situation? Is this showing that they just kind of need to get him in the door? He kind of just, from my eyes, it looks like he really ignited this offense. Was a big part even when CD had to take a seat. Do you think this is kind of just Jerry being Jerry? If he was on any other team, this would probably be kind of settled and done at this point.
I mean, it's a tough wide receiver contracts were super tough
right
now, especially paying wide receiver 2. So like. If this were the Jerry Jones of old, I could see him signing him to a ridiculous contract and like ruining their team again, because that's what the Cowboys do, is sign players to mega extensions, and then that just tanks their entire team because then they can't afford anything else. So I don't know. I mean, if you're also George Pickens, fair for holding out because franchise tag is dumb. It's silly. We've talked about it before. It's not fair. He deserves his money. He had a good year. He should be able to get paid. He bet on him. He kind of bet on himself a little bit. Because he demanded a trade out of Pittsburgh, right? He said, "I want to leave."
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It honestly wasn't pretty. And I think it was like a mutual kind of departure.
Yeah, because you say in Pittsburgh, you're number 1, but now you're going to compete for balls with CD, and you have your best career year. Good for you. You deserve the money. If the Cowboys aren't giving it to you, leave. Screw him.
Absolutely. And I'm sure Jerry and the Cowboys are one to look at each deal separately and not take anything. And I say that seriously, but they are dealing with the same man that they had to kind of with the Micah Parsons situation and David Mulugeta. So I wonder if that's like it has anything to do with the timing. If that's maybe making Jerry just ignore a few calls from here to there, just make this thing go out longer. But I think something from the wide receiver standpoint, watching the Eagles over the past couple of years, no matter how good the receivers we've had, it always seemed to take a week or two to kind of for them to get that timing down live. So I'm sure him sitting out games would just be even bigger for that. Dak's only getting older. He's well paid. Probably, I think he might need to re-up at some point soon. Seth, I'm not sure if you've experienced this, but kind of what are kind of the reasons you kind of would want to get a holdout cut done? I don't know. I don't think George Pickens has too much of a hold on the locker room, but what are the reasons why a management might want to avoid a situation like this, and then what are kind of the benefits and detriments to a player that he's also kind of given up by working for the highest dollar he can by doing this.
Yeah, I mean, in George's case, there's no reason he needs to be at OTAs.
Yeah.
If you're a new player in a new organization, OTAs kind of matter. If you're a young player or a bubble player, OTAs really matter. And I'm not saying OTAs aren't important. It's a critical portion of the year for education, ramp up period, team bonding, team cohesion, getting extra reps in. You do assume most players will be there, but if there's a guy in a contract dispute, he doesn't need to be at OTAs. Now, I would start being concerned if he's missing significant portions of training camp. But any active player will tell you, like, OTAs are nice, valuable to a certain degree, but you don't really make the team or significantly hurt yourself during OTAs. Training camp is where the live bullets start flying. That's where chemistry and timing and rhythm is really built. You can build it during OTAs, but there's not a lot of full speed stuff all the time. And you take a 6-week break when they're over. You know what I mean? Right. So you got to start kind of from square one during training camp anyways. I've been on teams where players missed all of OTAs for contract disputes, and then they're back and everybody's happy. You know what I mean? They got paid, so on and so forth. It is a bit of a bargaining chip to be, hey, I'm not in the building. If you want me back in the building, pay me. I think that bargaining chip becomes a lot stronger once it becomes training camp. I think Jerry knows too that, like, we can let this kid sit out OTAs if he thinks it gives them more leverage. I think Jerry's stupid personally to delay paying players. He ends up paying more than he has to. But yeah, George doesn't need to be at OTAs.
No, that definitely makes sense. And I think that definitely is kind of the process that the Cowboys have kind of bit them in the butt as they continue with that. They're kind of having to pay players a lot more in the back end or risking having to trade them. Speaking of switching out jobs and employees, replacement refs may as well be back. Right now, the NFL is currently in for too long didn't read version of it. They are entering a discussion over compensation disagreements. They're really having struggled to come to an agreement there, which kind of the NFL may be a kind of a pump fake, kind of to get the public kind of riled up. They're discussing and training up the need for replacement refs to return again. I think it's very well known that these replacement refs were not good the first time around. They destroyed. They ruined a lot of games. Were blamed for many outcomes to the point where people were really dressing up as replacement refs for Halloween. That's as big as it came in the mainstream. People do not like this. We don't have to spend too much time on this. We're just doing the news at this point. But guys, replacement refs are back. Do you think the league kind of just has to do whatever he can, or do you think kind of the referee has been kind of at a state where maybe a slight dip won't even make too much of a difference? Or you guys kind of just get this thing over the line?
We got to get new refs in. We got to get some new. I'm tired of seeing it every week. And hockey league retire. I was
hoping this would be your thinking, Tyler.
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, I don't know how. Do you know how hard it is to become an NFL ref? Do you know how insanely
I'm sure it's very difficult.
Like, you have to like be a ref in high school, and like it's like culty and like clicky, and like then you have to become a ref in college, but then you can like become like a sideline ref in the NFL, like a back judge, and then you can finally maybe get promoted to like head ref. I'm like, dude, make a ref school. Let's. I'm ready for a ref draft. I'm ready to start.
That's what I'm saying.
Refs, man.
They have so much money. There's no way like people just can't like literally. This is your life. You will watch tape. We will pay teams for you to play games like once a day for you to ref. Like they have the money for this.
They're
they can
$1 trillion organization.
I don't know. I like the flyovers too, but like I don't know. Maybe
Well, that's U.S. tax dollars.
I'm saying,
That is the U.S. taxpayers are paying for those.
bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, just get something. Get
They
something
paid $80 million
that can make that
to
game
fly over
better.
Kansas City.
I-
So
Like, what did the Rams, the St. Louis owner, trick them into paying for a new stadium, and then he just left into LA the following year? Let's do something like that. The cartels paying for IMG, make the Ref Academy right next to them, so that we can
UFL, just have them practice in UFL. Just like let's get some trainees in UFL.
Yes. No.
And hockey league, we're done. You know, what's that? Colin Cowherd thing? LeBron. We got Ben Simmons. We don't need you.
Seth,
and hockey league.
I've seen you get mad at a ref or two, Seth, both live and watching. So what's your initial thoughts on replacement refs maybe being needed again, if they can't kind of get to a deal?
Yeah, I feel like we're touching on kind of two different points here. One point is, why don't we make NFL ref a full-time position, make it slightly better paid, full-time training, stuff like that. That's a great idea. That's not really the problem at hand, though. The problem at hand is, does the union of the NFL Refs Association have any leverage whatsoever, like the same way the players union does? Because if the players are threatening to hold out, as they did in 2011, there's a lot bigger hit to the product than if the refs hold out. So, like, I can see the NFL paying replacement refs for a long time just to stick it to them and be like, you're a tangential part of this operation. You are not the main focus, so you don't have nearly the leverage you think you do. If they paid replacement players, which I think the last time this happened was like in the 70s, maybe the 80s, when they paid when literally players came in and played games while the real players were picketing, which is a terrible situation, by the way. But that is a much bigger threat to the NFL's product than the refs. Now, I understand these replacement refs in 2012 were really bad. I guess my question is, who are they? Like, who would they be? Are we getting NCAA refs to come in?
That's what they did last time. I'm assuming that's what they would do again.
Yeah,
I mean, UFL guys.
You guessed what, Tyler?
UFL, the United Football League, right? The
UFL, maybe.
Spring League.
Yeah, well, where are they getting those guys from?
I was about to say, I thought our answers were the same, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's other places to get pretty high level refs. The other thing is, like, you know, when we were having training camp and OTAs and stuff, it's not uncommon at all for an NFL franchise to bring in these refs during practice. It's very quid pro quo, because the refs get time on task perfecting their craft. They throw flags, and the teams get stuff out of it too, where it's like, on a normal day of practice, we could run the film back and be like, you think this was PI, or like, you think this was offsides, or you think this was encroachment? And we can just play he said, she said all day. When you have refs at practice, you can see, hey, what did the ref actually think? Did they throw the flag? So refereed practices, the refs don't stop practice, but they throw the flag, and so we have immediate feedback, right? So, like, those are actually quite common, and improve the quality of practice, or at least the outcome. They increase the clarity of outcomes of many plays in practice. And if you get some high level refs to come to training camp and practice, and everybody gets a little something out of it, like, it doesn't have to be a debacle. And I just don't see the NFL RA, or whatever the union is called, having that much leverage in the situation. But let's see how it plays out.
I know. I just found out that term for the first time today, the NFLRA. So it looks like they're not in a good spot, and especially Tyler's already calling for some of them personally. So there's definitely not a lot of people really wanting them by name. So they can definitely, looks like they can hire whoever they want as long as we can get the game rolling. It looks like the fans are going to be okay. Okay, let's keep flying through. We're going through some way too early season superlatives. We're going to be adding this kind of an easier thing that we can get going recurring for you guys. Starting off, our first one is going to be who we believe will be the biggest disappointment of the year. I decided to start it off negatively. Tyler, do you have one to start us off with this one?
Team.
Or honestly, we could do player, but I think we should probably do team. But if you have a player that you really feel strong, like go for it.
No, team Seahawks. They lost Kenneth Walker. The chances Sam Darnold repeats that, I'll take the odds. You know, I'll take the odds. If you use Clint Kubiak too, give me the odds. I like Mike McDonald. He's a great coach. Defense gonna be good. That offense, they got nothing for me.
What would they have to do to disappoint you, like record wise, or like just like the vibe, like they're just not dominant at all? Like
I don't know. If you win a Super Bowl to me, like you should expect to win your division, right? Like you should be expected to win the NFC West.
Okay.
They don't win the NFC West, that's a disappointment. So I don't maybe the 49ers, they put it all together, stay healthy. But I don't know, you lose Kenneth Walker. Outside of Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, what do you got? What do you got for me?
Gotcha.
None. Diddley and Squat. So
gotcha.
It's a good one.
Fire my shot.
I like that one. I'll take the next one. I think I might go for the other side of the Super Bowl. And honestly, I don't think they'll be a bad team, but I think the Patriots might be a disappointment to a lot of people. I think they might have like a solid year, but I think it's just going to be, it might be a bumpy road back. I think Drake May honestly could get back, but I think their schedule might be a little bit harder. So I don't think Drake May might unfortunately lose the magic. I actually like him. I like him a lot for the fact, considering that he's a Patriots quarterback. I like him. I feel like he's a lot more likable than the last one for me. So hopefully he gets back there, but I think they're going to have to their schedule is going to flip to the top of the division. So we'll see how that goes for them. But I think a lot of people are going to be expecting the world out of them. And honestly, I'm going through the roster at the head and I'm starting to expect the world out of them too. But let's see how it goes. Hopefully they don't get a really good wide receiver to make their season easier next year, unless they want to give up a lot of stuff for them. But I think that's my answer. I think I'm rocking with the Patriots. Seth, who you got for this one?
As much as I would like this to not happen, I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
I think the NFL is a better place when the Bears are good. Are you guys familiar with this statistical measure in sports called Pythagorean wins? So Pythagorean wins is a formula that takes into account points for and points against as opposed to your actual record.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a very historically accurate measurement for teams that overachieved and teams that will pull back in the following year based on their previous success. And basically the difference between your actual number of wins and your Pythagorean projected number of wins, the difference between that is what makes the projection for the following year. The biggest difference from 2024 to 2025 the biggest difference between those two win metrics in 2024 was the Kansas City Chiefs. And we saw the Kansas City Chiefs in 2025 have a huge pullback in number of wins. A lot of people expected that without knowing the statistics or whatever. The same is going to in 2025, that team is the Chicago Bears in terms of the statistic. So we'll see in 2026 if the statistic continues to hold true. But they overachieved in a lot of ways in their actual win-loss column. I think Caleb Williams is amazing. I think Ben Johnson's a good coach, and I want them to prove me wrong because again, I think the NFL is a better place when the Bears are good.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be shocked if they don't make it quite as far.
Tyler and I instantly agreed with that one. I think that was probably both of our second choices. I think they honestly all the things you said, and then they've kind of only lost firepower this offseason. You can argue on both sides of the ball. So let's let's see how those ones play out. Again, hopefully for the people involved, it does not go that way. Team that'll be the biggest surprise for us, Tyler. I'm gonna fearfully go for you again, just so we can keep the same order. But I think we might be thinking alike here.
Oh no, Raiders defense. I'm all
Okay.
in on specifically the Raiders
The
defense.
defense, gotcha.
I do not care about their offense at all, but defensively, having Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker back together is so sick. They get Max Crosby for 2 first-round picks. They bring in Teron Johnson. They bring in Teron Johnson from Buffalo. I think he's a solid player. They signed Kwity Paye before they traded for Max Crosby.
I think he's really good. I like Teron Johnson a lot. I think
he's a good nickel. He's
absolutely.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people at defense, especially with Nakobe and Quay Walker. Like you get 2 Georgia linebackers back together, set the world on fire.
I appreciate that review of their team. I kind of forgot about the moves they're making, honestly, after like, the Crosby stuff happened. But yeah, they got honestly. There's not a lot of big Kwity Paye guys out there, but I think he's a cool player. They got him in. Honestly, probably thinking that they needed more DNs than they need. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
They probably got a deep group there to go with their star. That's a great pick. I think
they also have my
one
of my favorite former Eagles, Thomas Booker.
Yes,
from Stanford.
You were talking about
he gave
that
me
guy.
a hug
like
at the
we
parade.
Needed him.
Yeah, he gave me a hug at the parade, and I'm like, I love this guy forever now. And I said, "You went to Stanford?" He said, "Yes, I did." And I said, "Go Cardinals!" And he said, "Have a great night." I'm like, "Thank you."
You were talking about him when we made the move. Yeah, Cardinal,
yeah, the Go Cardinal, the tree.
You were saying when we made the move
very
for,
weird,
Michael
but
Bennett.
true.
Yeah, I was pissed they traded
Bennett.
for Ja'Cory Bennett.
Yeah,
that made me angry.
Michael
I
Bennett.
love Thomas Booker.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. All right, I was talking as I was trying to decide which direction I was going. I think honestly, I was expecting a lot more people to be high on this team, but I think this could be the year that the Falcons actually make some noise. I think when Kevin Stefanski, the lift that he brought, I know it was very short-lived, I think they might have the methods and the means to really support that for a longer sustained period. Obviously, they do need to get a quarterback in there, no doubt. But they got a football mind upstairs, Matt Ryan. I think he'll probably make the right decisions, push the right buttons, maybe shed some of the non kind of football ways that might have been there. But yeah, I think they have a lot of quality weapons there. I think they're kind of a meme team, especially with Kyle Pitts, because every year people kind of expect Kyle Pitts to break out, but maybe this is when it actually happens. But I think they got the means to make it happen, and let's see how it works out. They did have a big hit there to their defense though, but I think they can get some wins. That division too, I think is going to struggle too. So they might have an easier way to that playoff tree. So let's see how that one shakes out. Seth, who's your squad that you're looking to surprise you this year?
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. It's a good question. I wish I had thought about it for longer, but based on what I'm able to come up with right now, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
I'm a big Justin Herbert fan. Big believer in Jim Harbaugh's ability to steer that team in the right direction. I think that their season last year was derailed by offensive tackle injuries. There was a moment in time where when they were healthy, they were pretty dominant. And I think Justin Herbert's too good to not pop at some point. And I think that they've got the protection on the line if they can stay healthy. And I think they got the right guy at the helm. So, yeah, that's my pick. I think it's inevitable here soon that they're going to start living up to expectations.
Marion.
Absolutely. No, they didn't get the full season of him. And again, I was saying I said it kind of hating on the guy. I like McDaniels, but I think he's going to look really good when they get both their offensive tackles back. I think that was a big deal for them last year. So that's going to be be a big boost to their team. Moving on, pushing through Tyler. I don't think we have to spend too much time, but AJ Brown. I think we kind of have to check in here. Do our weekly AJ Brown check in. I think as time goes on, I think we're slowly getting into the territory where we've accepted that it probably could happen, and I think we're kind of cool if it does. I'm honestly, I think it probably won't happen. I actually don't think I do want it to happen, but I think if it did happen, it would happen for the right reasons. How are you kind of feeling about AJ right now? Also, wait, I have to give the updates I do have. Sorry, I'm getting lost here. The updates I do have. Howie Roseman stated that AJ Brown is an Eagle, so that's interesting. That doesn't make me feel much better about him staying an Eagle. And then Nick Sirianni did say nothing has changed, and then Elliot Wolf, GM of the Patriots, denied any trade rumors for AJ going to the Patriots, who seem to be kind of the main contenders there. Tyler, have your feelings adjusted since this has kind of played out?
I've always AJ Brown. The second he was drafted from Ole Miss was always one of my favorite players in the NFL. I loved him in Tennessee. When we got him, I was ecstatic. I have his jersey. He's the only skill position player I own for their jersey. I love him because he's a big bully. He's a bull in a china shop. He doesn't play receiver normally. But you can definitely see there's some tread. That hamstring is not getting any healthier. I'm down for another year of AJ, but I know this is probably it. The only thing is I also love Devonta Smith so much, and I think so highly of Devonta that it's kind of like, if we got rid of AJ, we could see what the Heisman winning wide receiver can do with receiver one targets. And that is very interesting.
Absolutely.
But also, I do not like the way the Eagles built out the rest of the receiver room, so I'm like, AJ has to stay.
That's my thing. That's what kind of got me back over.
Because outside of AJ, like Hollywood Brown doesn't move the needle. Rondale Moore does not move the needle. Like they actually move the needle backwards for me because like they have outside of AJ, you have no big receiver. Like Johnny Wilson, but they should move him to tight end because like he doesn't have a future receiver. Like I want a big slot guy. Like I want a big body slot guy that can block on these pitch plays, and they went and got me Hollywood Brown.
There's a draft. We have a whole draft coming up. But I think Hollywood Brown.
Man. I'll go do that.
I'll take that. Leads on. I'll call Howie.
Sign me up. You want a big bodied slot? You got one.
Seth, would the Eagles be crazy to get rid of AJ? Do you think they should kind of be scratching and clawing to keep him in, or do you think they should kind of lean? Obviously, they should lean towards protecting the room, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the Eagles should kind of like look to wash their hands and be very careful to do it rather early than it's too late, or do you think they should lean towards squeezing what they can out of having the player? I hate to say that.
It's tough. I think we've touched on this at some point in the past, but you typically don't let really good players like that leave. But there's been kind of an ugly marriage there for a while. It almost seems like you could probably get more in return than the value you're squeezing out of him actually being there right now. That being said, I wouldn't necessarily wish that for your Devonta Smith narrative. I think Devonta in some ways benefits from there being a really good option on the other side of the field. It starts becoming the Justin Jefferson narrative, especially in the absence of Jordan Addison, where just like, Justin Jefferson also didn't have a quarterback, but like if you're the only guy, you draw a lot of attention.
Yeah,
your production doesn't necessarily increase as a result of that. So, I do think they should absolutely entertain trading him. And you just name your price. If nobody pays your price, then you keep a good player on your team and you try to let bygones be bygones. But I think they should be open to trading him, yes.
Seth, I think what you said is exactly what we're doing. I think we have our price, waiting for a team to hit it. Maybe that price changes as the summer goes on, but I think that is exactly what's occurring right now. I think we would be pretty open, but nobody has hit that price yet. Before before we get on out of here, we gotta hit our pick 6 of the night. Very simple in honor of the owners meeting. That's probably one of the scariest rooms to ever be in. 32 people of such great acquisitions, I should say. That's the word I was looking for, not accusations. Yeah, probably weird conversations going on, probably a weird room to be in, but they're all together doing what they do, meeting about the rules and such and whatever they need to do. But in the honor of that, if you guys were building your own franchise, you're going to get 2 players, one on the offensive end that you'll start your franchise with, and one on the defensive end that you'll use as the cornerstone of that. Tyler, we're kicking off with you again. You're starting off with the games today. How you feeling on the offensive side of the ball? Who are you picking?
Jahmyr Gibbs, easiest question ever. He's my favorite player in the NFL by far.
So cool.
At Georgia Tech, he was so sick. When he transferred to Alabama, I thought it was like a lock for a Heisman. He's electric. He's awesome. No, it doesn't matter what your team looks like around him.
Mhm.
You have like just pure electricity. I like players who can score a 50-yard touchdown randomly. So, Jahmyr Gibbs for sure.
Looks like we might be getting another one in the league just like that. Seth, offensive side of the ball. Are you?
What is this?
Oh,
the 1960s. We're going with a running back to start.
Oh, yeah.
franchise?
Oh, yeah.
My goodness! I thought this was
We're not
2026.
we're not
Holy
throwing
smokes! Thought we weren't paying running backs anymore. That's
I'm
crazy.
paying running backs.
I honestly thought Tyler was going to pick an
Joel.
offensive lineman.
I was
I
gonna
know.
Careful. But Sewell was sitting there staring at me.
It seems like an obvious question. But if you're going to go the 1960s route, then maybe it gets a little bit more interesting.
You're with interesting fans.
I think on offense, if you do a full redraft, it's Mahomes or Allen at the number 1 spot, depending on which season we're just coming out of, right?
There's a third guy.
Huh?
Lamar? I take Lamar over Josh Allen, but that's just me.
Oh man, that's super tough. I mean, we could go back and forth on this for a while, probably. I don't think you make a bad decision with any of those guys. Lamar is super tough, but how often does Lamar actually use the ability that's above Josh Allen's ability? Like the separation there is like Lamar's way more creative with the ball in his hands, way more twitchy. But we haven't seen that from him in a while. You know what I mean? Maybe he's been hurt or whatever. There's been reports that he's been hobbled. But like, if you're looking for a dual threat guy, you get that out of Josh and probably a slightly stronger, sturdier frame and maybe a better arm. I think Josh has developed into a better passer than Lamar. I don't know if we would have said that year 1 for each of them, but I think without a shadow of a doubt, and I'm not taking anything away from Lamar's passing ability. He's one of the most efficient passers in NFL history. I think Josh is a better pure thrower of the ball and turns into Superman more often than
That's
Lamar
the thing
does.
for me. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The key moments, I think Josh Allen really is head and shoulders above Lamar in those moments. But
that key moment where he threw the ball backwards before the end of the first half of the AFC.
The Texans one? Is that the Texans game?
The Broncos, where he
scrambled
and he threw it backwards and teed up the
I don't know what I know that game. I don't know what round this was.
Turnovers. Yeah.
There was one.
That's a personal grudge against him.
Really bad. No, I get it. There's a Texans game where he played really bad and did so many things. But to Lamar point, I do think that this will be his bounce back year for him too. I think new coach and all that. I think maybe this offense will really let him go. We shall see.
Wait, who's your pick?
Josh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I forgot. You're right. Good call,
Yeah.
Tyler.
Josh, but it's a little bit of recency bias. I think, like I said, any given year could be Mahomes too, but coming out of the past year, it's Josh.
Oh man. I just have to go. I've talked about this player and the fact that I would have loved for this player to be Eagle too much. Shador, yeah, Shador. I do like Shador. I am wishing Shador well. But I think just Justin Jefferson. I've just been an admirer of him as a player. I think the cool thing about him, I do think maybe if I had to pick a receiver, I think Jamar Chase. I think maybe more prototypical like than him, but there's just like Jamar Jefferson, Justin Jefferson's highlights. Like there's just the cornerback isn't in the picture with him. Like he just breaks off like corner like it's nuts. So I think he's just too fun to watch. He really puts it all together, and he's really just been leading that situation. I think Jamar's in his own situation with the Bengals, but he's been given a quarterback. I think regardless of the situation, we've just seen Justin do what the best he can, and honestly, just been. It seems like he's been a decent teammate with the things that have been going on. So I'll stick with him, and he'd give me some patience to get my quarterback right too. So I don't need one right now. So that is my pick, Justin Jefferson. Tyler, back to you, the defensive side of the ball.
This is a tough one. This is a real tough one. Probably the most dominant player in NFL history. Top 5 most dominant player we've ever seen in NFL history is sitting there. But it's like Seth said, I don't think he's fitting my team here.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna go with Cooper DeJean.
Okay.
Give me the genius on defense. Give me the slot corner.
This
Same
is the
story as
1960s.
Jameer Gibbs. I loved him so much in college. I never stopped loving him, and now I don't ever have to stop loving him.
It was crazy that day.
He can play safety, he can play boundary, he can play nickel, and he can do it all at a high level. My other pick was going to be Travis Hunter because I was going to cheat because he plays both sides of the ball.
Exactly.
But I'll take Cooper DeJean. I love him. I think
You
I
just
love
overdrafted the 2 least positional values on each side of the ball.
Yep.
Safety and running back. Yeah, you really swung that, hit that out of the park.
My 2 favorite. The problem is my 3 favorite positions in the NFL draft are nickel corner, tight end, and running back. And I will always, always, always be like, these guys need more money. These guys need to be paid more because they do a lot more than people give them credit for.
Tyler's a big culture guy. He's just trying to build the right culture in his locker room, and then the other pieces will come.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's key. A lot of teams.
I got my defensive coordinator and a player in the same guy. I don't need DFC. I just got Cooper DeJean out there.
It's great stuff. I love the pick. I might be in a similar realm as you, Seth.
No, you go next, Justin. You go next.
I got it. Okay, defense. This kind of is a cornerstone position. You need it. I think most people will say you got to get the edge and the D line right, but this is just my guy. I got to take him if I could. Denzel Ward.
What?
Freaking Spider-Man on the field. I like player types. He's the player type, player profile. Perfect. What I'm looking for. I trust him against any wide receiver. Just stick him out there. He'll handle that side of the field. He'll give me exactly what I'm looking for. He'll shut down. The tackling has slightly improved as we've gotten on. I think that was a little worries as he first started, but yeah, I think that would be the player I'm going for. That's my favorite defensive player in the league. So I got to rock with him. Who do you think I was going for? Oh,
Jalen Ramsey.
I know who you think I was going for.
I thought you were a lock for Jalen Ramsey.
That actually is a really good pick. I honestly, is he still in the league?
Yeah.
We're talking about people in their primes or like right now.
That's a great call, Tyler.
That's a great question.
Man, that's a great. Oh, I think we can put him in their prime. We can put him in their prime.
Oh,
I'll stick with Denzel. I'll stick with some. Sorry, Tyler.
I was thinking Aaron Donald then.
No, I was hoping nobody would pick Aaron Donald to be honest. But active. Seth, who are you getting on the defense end?
Denzel would be a great start for your flag football league too. I think Denzel would be really great in flag football.
I skipped that topic today.
Yeah, it's all good. You guys left me the 2 most obvious options, man. I mean, I'm going.
I had a feeling that was going to happen.
I think that's why I let you guys go first. I was like, surely they're going to pick the people that they should actually pick.
Nope.
Well, you left me with Myles Garrett, man. Not only do the stats speak for themselves, but
Seth's about to win a Super Bowl.
I'm
going 0-17.
I have scars on my body from him. So I actually know what it feels like as well. I think Josh and Miles is a pretty good cornerstone for my franchise. So I'm feeling pretty good about that.
That's no, Seth. You did pick right, and since you brought it up, we can give quick initial rundowns. Tyler, I'm gonna let you go first because I know your opinion on this. Tyler, I know you didn't watch it, right? The
No.
flag football, and so your opinion on flag football is in the whole situation going on.
I mean, the flag football players are obviously better at flag football than the NFL players. But I guarantee you, if you give Lamar Jackson 4 months, he'll be better than all of them. You give him 4 months, he'll be better than anybody, anything.
That's all. That's kind of my initial thoughts. And Seth and I were kind of saying things of a similar tune. But Seth, we'll take two takeaways. Something that surprised you, and then kind of similar to Tyler. If you have any similar messaging to that.
Yeah, me and Justin were sat in front of the TV. We watched this whole thing, and I enjoyed every minute of it. We got to see Tom Brady lace him up again. I mean, that in and of itself, not to mention OBJ, Devonta Smith, Saquon Barkley. Like, this was a really, really well put together event. I don't know how they got so much star power on the field. To be honest with you, yes, the flag football players are better at flag football. Did we know that before this game? I'm not sure we did. I tuned into this so closely because I didn't know the answer to that question before this game. This game had a lot of shedding light on the answer to that question. And we did. We found out that flag pulling is different than tackling. We found out that not being able to block, not being able to press coverage on wide receivers really changes the game. The field dimensions changes the game. It's a completely different sport with obviously recognizable football principles. That being said, what Tyler said is exactly right. We watched USA flag football outscore both NFL teams by a really, really wide margin in the first two games. In the championship game, I mean, freaking Logan Paul, the boxer guy, what's the boxer? Crawford.
It's Terrence Crawford.
As a bad man. And friggin' influencers are on the field, and Team USA is taking advantage of these influencers being on the field. So
absolutely.
In some ways, this is almost like making levity of the situation, where it's not really an all-out fisticuffs like competition. Because if it was just NFL players, it's almost like these influencers being on the field, it was the NFL players out for losing. Right. It's like, this isn't super serious. We're taking it serious. But at the end of the day, like, Logan Paul's on the field. Like, we've got a professional boxer on the field, and they're giving up touchdowns. Right. So in one sense, it wasn't really a fair comparison of NFL talent versus flag football talent. That being said, even with influencers on the field, by the last game, we had already closed the gap significantly. And we're talking about 2 hours, Tyler, not 3 months. In 2 hours, we closed the gap to literally within one score. And so that is really, I think, the biggest takeaway is, if we gave it the time, I think it's pretty apparent that we could probably put together a better team. Yeah. Would it be foolish for us not to include the current USA flag football team members? A lot of them would probably add a ton of value. That being said, the Summer Olympics are during training camp, and I just don't see how an active player is going to be able to participate in this, right? So I think Fanatics flag football is cool to, like, put USA football on the map, to, like, USA flag football, to, like, answer some of these hypothetical questions that social media has been asking. I can see a guy like OBJ or another former player like D-Hop, probably by 2028. D-Hop will be a former player. Like, I can see some of these former players like RG3, who's supposedly already on the roster now, like, throwing their hat in the ring and wanting to participate. I personally, logistically, don't understand how Joe Burrow, who says he wants to play, is going to be able to forego training camp for this experience. It doesn't make any sense why he would do that. And I don't know if they've fully considered what the time conflicts are going to be. but it's the worst time of year for an NFL player to participate in this thing. So, yes, Lamar, Jahmyr Gibbs, Denzel Ward, we could put together the right body types to really be good at this thing. I just don't think we'll ever see it. Not in the Olympics, at least.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tyler, you'd be happy to hear that RG3 did throw his hat in the ring. I'm sure that excites you.
Dude, I love him with all my being. That man is the funniest dude on earth. When he raced the Falcon, that was so sick. Dude, that was so sick.
Oh man, it's actually really fun. I don't know. I feel like he really just has a tendency to make like the most random sports moments about him. So I don't know. He just shows up.
Yeah,
so
I love him.
randomly, in
Dude,
my
he's
opinion.
awesome.
It's very funny. It's very funny.
Him and
Well,
Stephen
yeah,
A. They're just
that's what I'm saying.
they're
grooming
hit,
him.
miss.
All right, I think that is everything. I'm happy we got the flag football talk in there. Anything else? Don't want to speak about anything else to get off our hearts and minds?
I need Michigan to win bad.
Fair. Oh
yeah.
My goodness, Seth.
Only feature I got left.
Seth.
Yeah.
When that shot went in, and I did see your reaction with my own two eyes. But how good does it feel to keep on watching the UConn Huskies play basketball?
Braylon Mullins. Remember the name. Kid's a freaking Mr. Indiana high school basketball, true freshman, ice water in his veins. I don't think we we were hype, obviously. And I was so pissed at the calls that Duke was getting all game. And I was like,
dude,
when I watch basketball with that amount of skin in the game, I want to be on the court. You know what I mean? So my blood's actually boiling. And it was the most satisfying thing. I was pissed for 2 straight hours and then suddenly elated. And I don't think we realized how iconic that shot was, dude. Like that shot,
absolutely.
That shot is already stuff of legend. It's going to be a grainy historical video shown 30 years from now in March Madness. Like that's the wettest shot I've ever seen. No rim, freaking perfect swish, loudest swish I've ever freaking heard. Like one of the coolest moments, and just like as a lifelong UConn fan, really insanely satisfying. And happy that I get another dog in the fight next weekend. So
no, absolutely. That
did you hear?
Absolutely crazy. Go. Who got in the face of the ref?
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
I didn't realize they actually did something about that, honestly. I thought they was gonna let it slide.
So, okay, Braylon Mullins and Dan Hurley are being immortalized this morning all over talk radio, ESPN. Here's the reality of the situation. There's time left on the clock. If Dan Hurley gets a technical foul, instead of him being immortalized this morning, we're probably calling for his resignation. You're going to rob your team of that moment because of your attitude.
That was insane.
Bro, I kid you not. After all he's done, imagine that moment being eclipsed by 2 technical foul free throws from Duke at the end of the game, which I'm a UConn fan. That could have and probably should have happened. Can you imagine the anarchy and the resignation calls that would be happening this morning? It's actually shocking.
Okay.
How much you love. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think UConn put up a cover-up story to try to get him not suspended, and saying like he was leaning in closer to try to hear him. It didn't look like that at all to me, but I think honestly that surprises me that there wasn't a tech. Honestly, if that was the case, because he literally like looked like he wanted to fight that man. Like
the ref showed a ton of restraint, understanding the moment.
Absolutely.
Like that's selfish.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm sure that he feels bad about that. Because after all the standards he preaches to his team, for him to allow that moment to be in jeopardy, I'm sure that bothers him really, really bad, and I'm sure he regrets it. But
absolutely.
When you coach the way he does, and when you care the way he does, you do. There's moments you go over the line. Heck, I go over the line too. and friggin' pick up basketball, right? Like these things happen, but you're paid a lot of money. The spotlight's on you.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he learns from it, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy and so glad that we were able to watch that game.
Yeah, I'm sure he will never let anything like that happen again. That was an insane ending. And Tyler, for the Michigan Arizona game, I unfortunately am on the other side of you in that one.
I know you could win the bracket, Justin.
Oh man, today I know
loses and Arizona wins, you could win.
I know I shouldn't have believed in UVA. I could have, but I need that. When UConn was coming back, I was like, that was big for me because I had Houston on my Final Four too, and they didn't do so well for me. So let's see how things shake out. But yes,
I think the winner of that game wins it all.
On which side?
UConn,
Arizona,
Michigan,
or UConn side?
Arizona, Michigan.
Yeah, they're just
Arizona looks pretty good.
Arizona's forced.
Michigan looked. I honestly only saw 2 of the Michigan, but they looked really good. Obviously, in the
Axel guy's insane.
My
age.
Absolutely.
That is so college funny. Like 15 years. It's crazy.
Supposedly UConn played Arizona earlier in the year without Taurus and without Braylon Mullins, and only lost by like 4 points or whatever. So
that could very well likely see that rematch again. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm honestly rooting for that one. So let's see how things shake out. Anything else to get off our hearts and minds? I was loving the March.
Chris Jenkins' buzzer beater is so much better, infinitely better.
Exactly what you're talking
What's that? Villanova.
2016 UNC Villanova.
Unfortunately,
Jenkins. Okay. How about them onions?
That's a good buzzer beater too.
That buzzer beater is insane.
I cried so much. That was the happiest moment of my life up to that point until the Eagles won Super Bowl.
That was in the Natty too, wasn't
it? Against UNC. And Marcus Page hit the Jordan shot right before the entire game.
The double clutch.
Jordan in front of Jordan. Yeah.
Oh my, that game was actually insane.
That was the nuttiest national championship game of all time.
Yeah, no, those are good shots too, man. Those are all immortal shots, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we'll see which ones are coming up. We'll probably talk to you guys once or twice before this tournament wraps up. But yeah, that is everything from us. Thank y'all for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. We will be coming to you next week. It's the off season. We'll be scrounging for that news, and we'll have some games for y'all. That'll be that. Thank y'all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell somebody that you love them. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.